To you, I was kind of asking myself, how easy would it be for another organization to kind of copy that approach and to establish an innovation fellowship themselves? You've mentioned that you have a colleague full time looking after the fellowship. But is it very resource intensive to establish a program like that? Is it mainly a team behind it that needs to set an agenda and drive it and manage the community? What would you say to someone saying, I want to think about establishing an innovation fellowship in my organization?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you're thinking about it, I would say go for it. Definitely try, because I think it is one of the most rewarding parts of working on innovation in the humanitarian system. I think for us, one of the biggest sort of first steps would be to get that senior management buy-in. We're very lucky that every time we bring in a new cohort, our Deputy High Commissioner sends, letters informing supervisors that, this is something that they'll be taking forward over the next 12 months, even though the supervisors have to technically sign off before. But it's that senior management buy-in that they're willing to say, this is something that as an organization, we're investing in. It's really about a learning program for innovation. So if you have that senior management support, you are already, I think, leagues ahead of other people, because at the end of the day, we ask innovation fellows to put aside around 20% of their time to actually work on the innovation fellowship. And 20% is a lot of time to actually dedicate to this. And, it's not going to be one full day every week or, half a day here, half a day there. It will change, but it's getting that buy-in not only from UNHCR senior management at a headquarters level, but also management across operations. So trying to get the buy-in from supervisors to create the space so that people can participate in the innovation fellowship. Because what it always comes down to is people not having enough time, people not having enough resources. UNHCR is an organization that is on the front lines of emergency response. So how do you actually find that space to innovate in your day-to-day work? So I think everybody can sort of relate to the idea of just not having enough time or not being given the space to innovate. So when it comes to creating this, being able to ensure that people have that space, that people have that time, is really, really important. Right now, we do only have one person whose full-time job it is to run the Innovation Fellowship. I think she would say that the majority of the time she's quite overwhelmed. So depending on how large your organization is, how large the actual program is, I think that would depend on individual circumstances. Again, you could try, maybe just investing in 5 people and see what that looks like from an organizational point of view. I think also when it comes to the Innovation Fellowship, the great thing is that it's not people who are just like recommending their friends. It really is a very intense application process. All of the applications are anonymized by our Innovation Fellowship manager. So there is no favorability going into this. People aren't, choosing who gets to be in the fellowship based off of like who they know. So it really is investing in people that have the mindset that we're looking for, to challenge the status quo, to improve the way UNHCR works, to put refugees at the heart of the way that we're working. And that's the most important thing for us. So if you're thinking about designing a program like this, I would say, what is that mindset that you really want to push? What are the behaviors that you want to encourage? And if you can start thinking about designing your program around that, I think it will be much more successful, because at the end of the day, everybody can really, try new projects. But by instilling that culture change, that organizational change, these are like the really big things that we're working towards to accomplish. And that's going to have lasting change outside of just, a 12-month project.